Samaritans are answering a call practically every minute, round the clock. And obviously, there is a lot of isolation and loneliness among people outside there. And obviously, we're living in a fast paced life, and there's a lot of stress and distress out there for many, many people. So, the whole area of anxiety is an issue for a lot of people. And I suppose our job is to make sure to keep awareness that the service is available for anybody that is struggling with stress and anxiety, because it can come from many different aspects. So yeah, so Samaritans are available all year round, 24/7 hours a day. The number to contact to get Samaritan support, emotional support with Samaritans, is 116 123.
And how are the Clare Samaritan volunteers coping with this demand? And have you heard about the impact volunteers are having on the callers in Clare?
Yeah, I guess it is a national number. So here in the branch here in Ennis, we have up to 100 active listening volunteers. So, as I said, it is a national number. The issues here in Clare are much the same as they are every place else. And realistically, what we do here in Ennis is to provide outreach to communities, at festivals, in prisons. So any organisation, be it a sports organisation or a school or whoever, or a business, if they want an overview from us as to what the service is about and what we offer, then we are available at all times to give an overview of that to anybody in the local community. So at a local community level, that's what we are primarily engaged in. And at a national level, then obviously every branch in the country is calling the same number, 116 123. And, all of the branches, the 1,500 volunteers across the Republic of Ireland, are all basically dealing with the same issues.
Can you tell us more about the local outreach work done by the Clare Samaritans?
Different organisations have different a different approach from us. So for sporting organisations, what we do is a thing called the huddle, where we talk about, because obviously physical fitness is a big thing in sport, but also mental fitness is also a big issue. And that's what we try to kind of like conflate the two, so that people become more aware about mental health and the support we provide for anybody who's going through a difficult time, regardless of what the cause of it is, that Samaritans are there to support. Because oftentimes having somebody to talk to is a first step in being able to perhaps maybe get out of a person's head and to start maybe getting some perspective around the issue they are dealing with. Because obviously, if we're alone in our heads, the issue can become very, very large. And by speaking to somebody, then a person is likely to get some perspective around it. And then we can signpost and they can seek help in different areas once they have probably, I suppose, got a calmer perspective about the whole situation that they find themselves in.
Fantastic. And in terms of businesses, it's probably the same outreach work that you would do. Would you encourage businesses to take up on the opportunity to connect with Clare Samaritans, and what can you offer there?
We'd absolutely, ask every community to connect with Samaritans, because I guess, as I said, we have up to 100 active listening volunteers, and we have support volunteers. We have 120 volunteers in the branch. So, in addition to, I suppose, publicising what we do, in terms of providing emotional support to anybody who's going through a difficult time with anxiety, then of course, anybody can join Samaritans and go through the whole recruitment training process, because obviously there's great skills to be developed along that route also. So yeah, so for businesses, schools, education, any organisation, we would definitely, I suppose, actively encourage or them to engage with Samaritans, so that, I suppose, employees and anybody who's struggling with day-to-day issues have an awareness of the extent of the service that we provide. And it's confidential, it's non-judgmental, it's anonymous, it's neutral. So it is obviously from today's impact report, the demand for the service is very, very high. So therefore, that would indicate that it is effective in terms of helping people who are going through a difficult time.
You mentioned there that you have 100 active listening volunteers in your Ennis base and 120 volunteers in total. Are you looking for more with this increase in emotional support that is needed?
Absolutely, yeah. We're definitely looking for more. We would always be trying to recruit. It's not easy to recruit volunteers because I suppose it's not for everybody, the whole area of suicide and mental health and providing emotional support. So yeah, absolutely. As it says in the impact report, 1,500 volunteers nationwide. Ennis is providing 100 of those 1,500. If we could have 200 instead of 100, then that would be fantastic as well, because obviously it's a 24/7 service. The availability of volunteers to answer the phones during night hours, it obviously is lower than it would be in the daytime hours. So obviously, recruiting more volunteers to service that 24/7 need is absolutely critical. And yes, we are always out there looking for more volunteers.